Hey guys, it's Attacker Submitted 2 here, and so for today's video, earlier, Nintendo has just announced the brand new February Nintendo Direct that will be happening tomorrow, starting at around 2 p.m. East Pacific time, or depending on your time zone, 5 p.m. Eastern time. The presentation will be roughly around 40 minutes long, and it will be announcing and featuring new games that will be coming out throughout the first half of 2022. So there's just a lot of things to predict and unpack here. Many are hoping for a lot of big things from Nintendo this year, since if you don't know, on March 3rd, I presume, the Nintendo Switch 5th anniversary is coming up very soon. So I guess you can say that this Nintendo Direct is a way of early celebration to celebrate its 5th anniversary, making fans believe we'll get big things like Odyssey 2 or something huge, since we've already gotten games like Pokemon Legends Arceus, Breath of the Wild 2, and Bayonetta 3 upcoming in the future. But in this video, I just want to be predicting all the things I have listed in this entire presentation. Keep in mind, not all of them will get announced, obviously, but there are definitely some things that would definitely be likely to be announced in there, and there's some that are pretty much a huge guarantee that is either very unlikely to happen, but would definitely hope and dream of at some point if they're not going to announce it. And there are even some games that I might not mention here, like Breath of the Wild 2, because I think that will be safe for like an E3 presentation and all. But there are certainly some games I have listed here that would definitely be E3 2022 material. But with that, I just want to go through the predictions and see what they're going to be showing off tomorrow. And so with that, let's just start off the predictions. So the first thing I want to talk about is the online expansion pack. So every month, we have been getting new Nintendo 64 games added to the expansion pack, and even though its service is very pricey for N64 games, Animal Crossing DLC, and Sega Genesis games, they are at least adding new Nintendo 64 games on a monthly basis. Just last month, we've gotten Banjo-Kazooie, and the month before that, we gotten Paper Mario 64, and this month, we're supposed to get the release of Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. So I assume they're going to be announced at least a few more games that'll be added. I think one of them is really Smash Bros. 64, since that basically is the start of everything else. Plus, I think for those new Smash Bros. Fans who only either played Smash 4 or Ultimate, play Smash 64 as a new guarantee and see how this franchise really started to begin with. I also think Mario Party would definitely be one of them. I think Mario Party 2 is not in there yet, or I'm not sure if the first three are in there, but I can guarantee that maybe the first three will get in there, and I really do know that Pokesnap would definitely be a nice addition, since with new Pokesnap added last year, I wouldn't be surprised if they wanted to just do that again with the original as well. Even though the expansion pack, it has a few issues with its pricing and emulation, I can at least say that they are adding some really great Nintendo 64 games on a monthly basis. Now, the second thing I want to talk about is something Zelda related. Now, last year, they didn't really do anything much with, the Zelda franchise's 35th anniversary. Same goes with Donkey Kong as well. And, and I think I remember last year when Skyward Sword HD was announced, for getting the port, there was a rumor that had The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD coming to the Switch at some point in a few months, but after a few months went by, nothing happened, which makes me either think that rumor was just kinda, I don't know, second guessing themselves, or they just don't have the right time to announce anything Zelda related. Since I know Breath of the Wild 2 is supposed to be this year, I think it's a good way to, to hype things up before its release, is just to, port these two the third time at this point. If Skyward Sword gets ported the third time for the Switch, then same goes for, Twilight Princess and also Wind Waker. After all, like I said, the 30th anniversary for Zelda wasn't really that much, aside from more stuff from Breath of the Wild 2 and the Game & Watch and all. Not to say that anniversaries don't necessarily mean they have to do anything. It's just that when it comes to gaming anniversaries, they don't really mean anything at all, in my opinion. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is that, well, this week is the release of the cloud versions of all the three different Kingdom Hearts games: Kingdom Hearts 1.5 plus 2.5, Kingdom Hearts 2.8 final chapter prologue, and Kingdom Hearts 3 and Remine. I know cloud versions is basically the worst way to play Kingdom Hearts, and I tested the demos about a month ago. They aren't really that great in my opinion, but I still bought 1.5 and 2.5 since I don't own an Xbox or even yet a PlayStation at all, and I would play it on my PC, but I'm not too sure how the game is gonna handle in this PC and all. So that's why I decided to go with the Switch version instead. Even though it's cloud version, I'm always gonna be a Nintendo person no matter what. So I'm gonna say this right now: if you don't want to buy the cloud versions of the Kingdom Hearts games, then that's your choice. And all I can say is that since this Thursday is the release for all three of these games, I highly advise, I guess you can say that Nintendo and Square Enix and also Disney involved would just, show a bit of this before the game's release on that day. Yeah, I really am not too sure how to feel about this. I still bought 1.5 and 2.5 still, but cloud versions, I can at least hope and rely on my internet. Now, here's a Nintendo game that feels weirdly underappreciated. ARMS. ARMS was a 2017 3D fighting game that featured characters that fight with their, well, arms. And they did have Smash Bros. Representation in there with the character of Min Min and Spring Stadium, but even then, ARMS feels like a game that really needs a second chance. Like I said, the game is either underappreciated or just underrated, and I don't understand why exactly. ARMS, it's even though the gameplay is pretty wonky and everything else seems really basic and all, I did enjoy the game a lot, since, I mean, it's at least something interesting, and I like the unique concept at all. I just kind of hope that Nintendo recognized the series, or I mean the game at all, and at least makes a sequel or something. I like to see the ARMS sequel either called, I don't know, Legs, or just simply ARMS 2 and all. In the future, I just do hope that ARMS will get recognized by Nintendo, and the game is just weirdly underrated and underappreciated nowadays. Alright, here's an obvious one. Monster Hunter Rise DLC Sunbreak. It was announced, I think, last September, last September for the Nintendo Direct. Then it was shown again for the Game Awards 2021. So, and plus, since this is coming this summer, I think it's a good way to show more of the Sunbreak DLC of Monster Hunter Rise. Even though I don't play the games at all, I expect them actually showing it off. Another obvious one is Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Now, I did hear that HAL Laboratory has planned a lot for things happening for this year's Kirby's 30th anniversary. Plus, I've been hearing rumors that there may be a new Kirby game getting announced this month, which was shown in a Nintendo Dream magazine. I highly doubt that's even a thing, but given how we've gotten a new Nintendo Direct, makes me think there's something up with Kirby at the moment before Kirby and the Forgotten Land gets released next month. Plus, like I said, HAL Laboratory has a lot planned for Kirby's 30th anniversary and all. And now, have another obvious one. Triangle Strategy. If you don't know what this game is, well, I mean, I think it's a strategy game being made by Square Enix and all. Yeah, Square Enix is up again with making their great games and tactical and RPG stuff and all. I mean, Final Fantasy and everything else. Triangle Strategy, I'm not too sure why I included this, but the game is supposed to come out next month on March. So, I guess this could be a great thing to show off. I know these are like like a few obvious things I had to show off. So yeah, Triangle Strategy, that's like one I can expect. Now, here's something that I'm not entirely too sure of. Sonic Frontiers. The game is this winter of 2022. And we haven't gotten anything else aside from simply just a simple trailer and nothing else. And then the website itself kind of explains where the story is kind of taking place, but the story is really vague when it comes to details. So, Sonic Frontiers, there are two options. Either Sega will show them off at their own, or this will be saved at a later E3 2022. That's all I can really predict. But maybe they could tease a little of Sonic Frontiers, as I'm very anticipated to see how Sonic Team and Sega will go into this for this brand new game that the series hasn't gotten anything new since Sonic Forces, which was 2017, which is coincidental in my opinion. And now we're back to another obvious one. Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp. It's really fair to say that, yeah, the game was supposed to come out, I think, last year, or was it, I don't know, like, January 2022? But it got delayed due to some development and all, and they decided to delay it until, like, this spring. Though, weirdly enough, after they delayed it, it's supposed to be coming out, I think, April, because when I checked the Nintendo eShop, it showed the release date at April. So, yeah, spring 2022, spring is coming out in the next month and all. So Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp, what a good way to just show, what a good way to, you know, give the series more love and all. And now we've got to take a break from a few obvious things, and now we get to some rumored ones. Rumors are usually never really, they're either a good thing or a bad thing, because they could either be true or not. The one thing that actually makes me feel hopeful for is Xenoblade Chronicles 3. There was a rumor last year on August where they did talk about Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and then I think about a week ago, the Monolith sub website, which is the developer who, you know, makes the games and all, has updated their website, and that made many fans think that there could be a possibility for Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Like, I never played the first one, I have never played the second one, and I have never played Xenoblade Chronicles X at all, but maybe when the third game gets announced, I could get a chance on this series. Plus, I mean, I'm a huge fan of RPGs, and I wanted to, you know, try new series every once in a while. Xenoblade Chronicles 3, if they announced it, then I'd be down for a new installment. After all, like with a few games, this is supposed to be, it's been like 5 years since Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was out, and this year is the 5th anniversary of the Nintendo Switch. You may get what I'm going. And now, here's a new one that I haven't really talked about that much. Fire Emblem. Now, Three Houses, I did play a couple years ago, back in 2020, and I must say, it is definitely a great game, to be honest. Aside from that, I can see a new Fire Emblem game happening. I'm not sure whether it's supposed to be either a new installment or a port, though, since, I mean, after all, Three Houses, and especially, you know, with its gameplay and all, and the story, it was very intriguing. So I'm very curious how Nintendo and Intelligent Systems, I assume that's who the company is, I assume that's who the developers are making the Fire Emblem series. I am very curious on how they're gonna make the next Fire Emblem game, as I'm very intrigued with its story and characters and its tactical strategies and all. So a new Fire Emblem game, either it's gonna be in this Nintendo Direct, or a good way to save it for E3. Now, here are some Metroid content that I like to talk about. One of them being the Metroid Prime trilogy on the Nintendo Switch that has been rumored for quite a while, and also Metroid Prime 4. It has been 3 years since the game of Metroid Prime 4 was, scrapped and especially restarted, since it was announced back at E3 2017, but then got scrapped in 2019. So it's been a few years since we've gotten anything new from Metroid Prime 4. At least with Dread, they gave us at least some hope for a new Metroid game. But before Metroid Prime 4 even comes out, I do think Trilogy would definitely be a good way. After all, it did release for the Nintendo Wii, and given how there may be some chances for motion controls to be included in the trilogy version, I do say that to hype us more with Metroid content, I can see them being having Metroid Prime trilogy getting announced, but it's gonna take some time when it comes to motion controls. I will be glad if I'm wrong, though. Now, here's an exception I might make, though. Bayonetta 3. The game, this installment took, like, so long for them to get announced that it didn't get anything new until last year at September. So, would I think this would be an E3 sort of, announce, like, more, like, info on for E3? Or would it be more good for tomorrow's presentation? To me, personally, it would be an E3 one. But for those Bayonetta fans who really doesn't want to wait, I do think maybe it could be shown off more tomorrow and all. Plus, I mean, it's a great way to see Platinum Games still developing this game, and plus, I mean, Bayonetta 3, I never played the games, but I'm happy for those who really wanted me to, but I hope you guys are happy for, of me mentioning Bayonetta 3 at all. And now it's time for some Mario content. We got ourselves a lot of Mario content in this one, so let's first start off with Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, a game that will also be releasing this year of 2022. We don't have a release date yet, but we do see a bit of gameplay, some cutscenes, and the story of what it looks like. I really don't know. Like with Bayonetta, this could either be another situation at E3 or, tomorrow's presentation. This has happened with a few games, but this one and the last one I mentioned, it's a bit of a tough one, depending on how they want to show it off. Keep in mind, like I said in the very beginning, most of this might not happen at all, which really makes me think that they're gonna be saving this, for this year's E3. After all, even though it's an online thing, we can at least see Nintendo and Ubisoft try and find a way to give us more information. I also assume this could be a summer release somewhere between June or July, maybe August. So yeah, I'm at a hard one at that one. The next one is a somewhat obvious fact that I feel like I should have put in the very beginning, but Mario Party Superstars DLC. The game itself was incredible. They pretty much brought back the real aspect of what Mario Party really is. Roll a dice, go on the board, move around on the board, play some minigames, rinse and repeat. Even though the minigames themselves feels a little too easy, and the game feels, I don't know why. Superstars itself feels like a game that is way too lucky on its RNG and all. But aside from that, the 5 boards is what the real problem is. Many are having rumors whether or not this Mario Party game was ever gonna get DLC. Since it was found in the game's files, they did mention something about DLC, but we weren't too sure if that's really just, like a coding mistake, or they're gonna be saving up more in the future. Many are hoping for either new characters, but most likely new boards, because the game, when it was released, only had 5 boards, being like Yoshi's Tropical Island, Peach's Birthday Cake, Spaceland, Horrorland, and Woody Woods. Surprisingly enough, there's only at least one Mario Party 3 board, and there really isn't a Bowser board, surprisingly enough. Because in the past Mario Party games, there's always a Bowser board no matter what. So Superstars being the first one, I think, not having a Bowser board seems a little surprising. So DLC for Mario Party Superstars, it's a bit overdue at that point, and I swear, if they don't make it free, I'm gonna be confused on why we waited this much. Okay, I went a bit salted there. My apologies. Alright, here's another thing that I highly doubt it's ever gonna get announced, but I can dream at least, alright? A new Mario Kart game. I really just get bored of Deluxe a lot. And I get that Deluxe gets so much sales going on. It's like it's one of Nintendo's best-selling games out there. But I feel like we need a new Mario Kart game at that point, with either, new characters, new missions, even new tracks and all. I mean, the tracks are very great when it comes to creativity, but I wasn't really a fan of Mario Kart 8's tracks at all. The DLC is what saved it, but I wasn't truly a fan on some of them at all. So Mario Kart 9 or Crossroads or whatever you want to call it, I just want a new Mario Kart game at this point. I know it's not gonna happen given how Deluxe is selling very well, but I can at least dream. Give us a teaser at the very end and I can at least be happy we're getting a new Mario Kart game. That's all I ever want. Now here's something that many also want: Mario Odyssey 2, or at least as I like to say, a brand new mainline Mario game. Because the reason I say that was because a Mario 3D game sequel is very, very rare nowadays. The only real Mario 3D sequel we've gotten was Mario Galaxy 2, which released a couple years after the first Mario Galaxy. So Mario Odyssey 2, despite its success, I feel like they could either go with the sequel or go with a brand new approach with a great story, some interesting bosses, some great characters. That's all I can say. game. This is the game that I've seen many want to see from Mario, from the Nintendo and all, since Mario Odyssey was such a big success. Plus, they had to find a way to either rival both Sonic Frontiers and Breath of the Wild 2 and all. I can at least see that happening, but for now, if they're gonna only show at least a few Mario spin-off games, I can say that they're gonna hold up a new mainline Mario game just for now. Now, next up, we're going to be talking about something that I'm not too sure if they're going to be showing off. The Mario Bros. Movie. Now, last year, like, when they first showed off the cast, many are very surprised, but some are very skeptical about this. Chris Pratt playing as Mario, Charlie Day as Luigi, and Jack Black as Bowser. That's something that no one would ever thought. But Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong is very funny, and Keegan-Michael Key as Toad. How is that even possible? So, and it's supposed to come out this year on December 2022. So it's basically the end of the year at that point. So, this could either be, they're going to at least show a bit of a teaser, or maybe they could show it off at E3 as sort of one of Nintendo's big highlights, because I really want to see how Chris Pratt will play as Mario. I want to see how the cast will do, and even though Charles Martinet is in this movie, he's not going to play the Mario Man himself along with Luigi, so I really just do hope that Nintendo and Illuminations know what they are doing. And then finally, the big one of them all, Splatoon 3. Just like with the few games I mentioned, such as Bayonetta 3 and Breath of the Wild 2, and especially Mario Sparks of Hope, Splatoon 3 is also coming out this year. But we don't know when the release date is. So I can say is that show us more of the story, show us more of gameplay, and especially a release date. I don't know when it's gonna come out though. That's the thing. It could either be somewhere in the summer or the fall of 2022. Splatoon 3 is just one of Nintendo's biggest anticipated games out there. So yeah, I think that it deserves a big spotlight right now. And that's really the entire prediction of tomorrow's Nintendo Direct. Like I said, there is just a lot of things to really mention about this presentation. And also what I said in the very beginning of the video, do I really think most of them will get announced? I highly doubt that. But there can at least be some hopes for a few of them, like Mario Kart 9, or maybe the new Xenoblade Chronicles 3 game. You may never know until Nintendo shows them off tomorrow, because I do know when it comes to a Nintendo Direct presentation, they either show a few third-party or fourth-party games, maybe a bit of anime games and all. I do not mind anime games, but when it comes to many fans hoping for big first-party ones, some of them always get listed off. So I just want to mention them so I won't get berated from the comments and all. But yeah, that's really about it. I want to know all your opinions down below and what your predictions are for tomorrow's Nintendo Direct presentation. What do you all expect for tomorrow? I want to know all your opinions down below about this. And so with that, leave a like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell for more videos, follow my Twitter, and if you guys do not want to subscribe, then that's completely fine by me. And remember this, once a legend, always a legend. Like a Hellcat.